An ATG split squat is a black and white exercise. It means squatting on one leg so that your hamstring covers your calf muscle without your heel coming up off the floor and without your back knee touching the floor and without your chest going forward, which would be an avoidance of the stretch and an avoidance of actually having your leg do the weight. That is an ATG split squat, so it's very black and white. The chest is perfectly vertical, the hamstring covers the calf, the heel doesn't lift more than a centimeter. A centimeter of lift is fine, it means you're sitting on that stretch. Doing more than that would be avoiding the stretch, and the back knee doesn't touch the toe, or doesn't touch the floor. The last little tip is that the heel does not go in, which is an avoidance of the stretch. The heel staying straight or going out would only increase the stretch. So straight or out is fine, in is not okay. The thing is, to achieve that mobility, most people can't start right on the floor. The average athlete I train starts on a 9-inch box. So if you look at the angle of things, this makes the flexibility easier. So again, the knee is not touching the floor. Every point of the form is exactly as I said. As the flexibility improves, I would progress them from a 9-inch box to a 6-inch box, which is 15 centimeters, and then down to a 3-inch box, and then eventually down to flat ground. That whole time you're doing that, using dumbbells as the weight is the safest way to go about it, because you're not at full mobility, you're stretching and you're trying to get deeper into your mobility. So with the dumbbells, you have a lower center of gravity, which makes it easier to balance. So if I use dumbbells on this exercise, I can balance easier than if I have a bar on my back. So we don't work barbell while we're trying to progress in depth. We hold dumbbells at our sides. Once you're doing dumbbell on the floor comfortably, then we start adding a bar on back. It's harder because the balance is tougher since the center of gravity is higher. The form stays the same, and this is a good time, once you start going heavier, to give you another little tip, which is to stay the back foot on the tippy toes. See that back foot? Staying on the tippy toes keeps you engaged in the stretch, and it keeps the weight on the front leg. So as I go down and push back up, I stay on my back tippy toes the entire time. The final progression of mobility is actually bar on front, because that forces my torso even more upright. So bar on front on an ATG split squat actually requires the most mobility of all, making it the most strict. But it does another thing. By using a bar on front, if I get into trouble and can't get out of the bottom, I can safely dump the bar. But if that bar is on your back when you hit failure, you don't want to know how your body's going to react. It could be highly unsafe. It'll cut there. If you don't have bumper plates, set the pins in the rack. Just be sure to set the working leg down the middle of the rack, since your weight will lean to that side. That way the plates don't hit the pins. So if we look here, if I lower down and I get into trouble, boom, perfectly safe to fail.